Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino, that big green Grieco here again with another episode of Deep Listens, and today we're going to be discussing Song of Iron, yet another game about Vikings. This is at least the third game about Vikings we've played. To find out where it lands on the ranking of Vikings, you're just going to have to listen. I am joined, as always, by Viking expert Pete. Hello, Pete.
Hey. I consider myself an expert in all things Viking, having taken one class on Beowulf in grad school. So I know it all. Ask me anything. But, yeah, anything about it. Anything about Vikings.
Pete Vikings Busby.
But this week's fun fact, because we're talking about Vikings, is obviously about mice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check out this
course.
title. See if it gets your juices flowing. This is from Neuroscience or Science Advances, some journal. Science Advances. Here's the title. Olfactory exposure to late pregnant and lactating mice causes stress-induced analgesia in male mice. Tell me you aren't amped.
What does that mean?
So, I'm about to tell you. So, female mice emit a hormone that stresses male mice out because they want to keep male mice from murdering their babies. That's not the fun part of the fact. That's the horrible part of the fact. Here's the fun part of the fact. That scent is weirdly close to bananas. So, male mice are also terrified of the smell of bananas.
Awesome. So what you're saying
Yep.
is if I have a mouse problem in my home, what I should do is not call an exterminator. I need to go to the grocery store, collect bananas, and strewn them across my floor.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
And that'll get rid of all my problems.
It will. The effect is also more pronounced in virgin male mice.
Hell yeah.
So fingers crossed, you got a lot of virgins in your house.
Yeah, you know what? Great. That's awesome. Virgin male mice, but then the awesome, the Chad sex-having mouse shows up and is like, these bananas, I remember bananas. We are joined also, as always, by M. Palladino. Hello, M.
Hello. Pete, aren't you glad that your middle name is now Viking instead of Vor?
I am. This is most definitely an upgrade. I get to keep the monogram, though. It's still Peter VB, so we're good.
You can keep all those monogrammed jackets.
Again.
The towels, yeah. This game's neat. Little Unreal Engine project by one guy. I always like to see a solo developer doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to see how long I can last with my fan off to not mess up the audio quality. You'll know when I give up. It's so fucking hot in here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's
Well,
okay.
Before we get into discussing Song of Iron and Vikings, just our normal plugs. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show at DeepListensPod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections, and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show at patreon.com/deeplistens. We're only 2 or 3 patrons away from having to play Unlimited Saga. This saga don't have no end. And so if you want to see us play that, go ahead. Just any amount will force us to get closer and closer to Unlimited Saga. The Off the Deep Ends crew is also taking picks for RPGs for them to play in their year of fandom for their RPG slush fund or slush pile. So they are actually pulling from the pile for their next show, which I think you'll have to listen to their current show, their most recent next show, which will be NBA 2K16. But they picked from the pile at the end of that one, and let me tell you, they found some stuff that they're going to have to play. And if you want to get into the slush pile, you need to get first access to the Discord so you can suggest what game you'd want. And to get access to the Discord, you support the Patreon. And then once you have that, you can talk to us, and then you can be on the Discord report.
The Discord report. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. This week on the Discord report, let's see. There was a lot of discussion in the TV and movies. There's a lot of stuff coming out. They're of varying qualities. The Chip and Dale movie had Ugly Sonic. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did, and I haven't seen it yet. I want to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to probably pass on that one.
You're going to pass on the Chip and Dale movie?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Just the premise of the, like...
The Chip and Dale game was pretty sweet back in the day.
Yeah, but this is like, for a modern audience, so they're like making in-jokes and stuff, and I don't know, it's not my... Maybe I'll watch it.
But John Mulaney's back, and he's off cocaine.
Yeah, but now he's like hanging out with Dave Chappelle, and I can't really...
Yep, that's true.
Deal with that.
That's true. No, that was a sketchy move.
Yeah. There's a Winnie the Pooh horror movie coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about this one.
Pete,
have
did you hear about this?
No, is it like sanctioned? Like, is this official
No.
canon Winnie the Pooh?
Well, you see, the public domain comes for us all, and Winnie the
Oh
Pooh,
shit, they got him.
the original
They got
Winnie
him.
the Pooh, is now public domain. Now, Disney's
Can't
Winnie
wait
the
till it
Pooh.
catches Mickey.
Disney's Winnie the Pooh is a legally distinct entity, and so this is
Of
not
course it is.
Disney's
Mhm.
Winnie the Pooh.
Mhm.
But Winnie the Pooh is now public domain, so
Yep.
you can do whatever the hell you want with him now. And
Mhm. As long as he's not wearing a red shirt, which I think this one is, but we'll see how they get around that.
he probably wears pants.
Yep.
That's the way you get around it. Or just
Mhm.
giant dick.
I mean, maybe it's called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey,
Ah ha ha.
That's gross.
because it's a
That
horror
sounds
movie.
gross.
Yep. Stranger Things season 4, people are on the fence about. Obi-Wan also on the fence about. And I watched Interstellar last night, and I still like that movie.
Okay, pretty good. A little confusing, but good.
Yeah. Other than that, is there like basketball stuff going on?
Yep, the NBA finals are
There
coming
is
up.
indeed.
You can listen to the Next Off the Deep End podcast if you want Pete and I's takes on the NBA finals. Though I think this podcast comes out before that one, so we will be even
Yep.
more out of date in that show. But it'll be fine. The finals will probably not be over. We'll probably not be embarrassed by the time that one comes out.
What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, I guess the Warriors getting swept would be the worst thing that would happen for our predictions. It's kind
I
of a
think we're
preview.
okay. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think that's going to happen either. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in the world of basketball. I
Mhm.
don't think there was anything else too major going on. I believe ZP was yelling at you about some
He's
sort of
always
terrible
yelling at
adventure
me.
game.
Let's see, which one was that? CP's always tagging me in things that I kind of only...
Dragon Lore: The Legend Begins.
What?
This was what he tagged you about. Some sort of game called Dragon Lore: The Legend Begins.
I have no memory of this. I'll have to find it.
It's happened 3
See
days
if
ago.
it's-
I don't think you tuned into the
ooh.
stream that he was imploring you to look at, but
Oh, no. Yeah, he wanted people to watch this this strange game that he was playing and said that I need to see this. My game design projects that I saw in school are better than this. But I didn't see the stream. So if you see ZP streaming that game again, you should check it out because it's probably very bad.
yep. And those are the best ZP streams. And I
Yep.
guess also my Final Fantasy shirt showed up. I ordered from the 35th
Yeah.
anniversary shirt collection from Uniqlo, and I got the FF6 shirt, the 8 shirt, the 9 shirt, and the 5 shirt. I would say that the shirts are at top tier of the shirts I got is 5 because it's just 3 chocobos and the Final Fantasy 5 logo and then a tiny little description in font too small to read. So perfect. Boom. A+. Simple design. Second place, I think the FF9 shirt. On the front, it's just a cool picture of Bahamut fighting Alexander, and on the back, it just says, it's got the pictures of the cast, and it says, you don't need a reason to help people. And then the names of the characters. Simple. Straightforward. Then, the 6 shirt, I think, is pretty good. It's got, the walkers from the beginning of 6 with snow. But its problem is it's too wordy. It's got like a paragraph on the front that's
It's
like
got so much words. So many words on it.
It's the text that plays in the beginning scroll, but the thing is, in the beginning of a game, the words fade in and fade out. When it's on a shirt, it's just a lot of text. And then on the back, there's even more text. So that one's...
You ever see those shirts that are just like all the words in a book?
Yeah,
Like
that's
you can
what
get
I
a
was
shirt
saying.
that's just, Pride and Prejudice, like all of it on a shirt.
Yeah, you got to get the entire script of a Final Fantasy game in like 2-point font, and then just be able to point at it and go like, here's where we learn about Vivi's grandpa.
That's a great point. That would be a great shirt. And then the worst shirt is the FF8 shirt because it has like the Balam Garden logo and then way too much text on the front over the like chest. And then on the back, it's just got Squall's dumb face. Just not a great screenshot. So,
is that even centered, or is that like off to one side? I can't tell based on the picture.
It's
okay,
centered,
thank God.
but it still doesn't look good. Like it wasn't a great. I mean, it's an iconic picture, but it's a picture that makes no sense unless you've played the game. Whereas some of the other shirts, I think, look cool even if you haven't played the game. But yeah, to check out the 35th anniversary collection. Oh, also, I tried to find out the FF9 TV show was supposed to get news this week because there was a Vegas convention where they were supposed to reveal this show, and I got the news that this was supposed to happen, but then nothing leaked out of the show, so I don't know if any news actually happened yet. Look forward to my continuing tracking of my daily Googles of the FF9 remake and the TV show. I will update you, the listeners, as soon as I have information. That's not my obsession of the week, though, even though I am daily refreshing those 2 Google searches. My obsession of the week is instead capybaras. They're great.
Yeah?
Yeah. I saw one.
They're pretty good.
I saw one this week.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to a zoo.
You mean the big-ass rodents?
Yeah, the world's biggest rodents. This is a fun fact spin-off. I saw some at a zoo, and they were just lying around, rolling around in wet mud, and they were having a great time. What a cool animal. Capybaras. They're awesome.
Do you have a fun fact about them?
No, they're just cool.
Damn.
World's largest rodents. It's pretty
They're the
good
world's
fun fact
largest
already.
rodents. That was a fun fact, I think.
I like that they'll like hang out in hot springs. There are a lot of pictures of them doing that.
Yeah, in Japan
Just,
they
like,
do that a lot at
chilling.
the zoo.
Yep.
And
Good animals. They're very calm.
Yeah.
They like calm down everything else around them. And
I've seen pictures of them with caiman, and the caiman are like, well, why would I hurt a capybara? He's cool. They're just a cool animal. Everyone likes them. They're dog-sized rats. What more do you want? We've got a fun fact coming in from chat. Fun fact, you can eat the capybara during Lent even though they are rodents. That's not true. I will never eat a capybara.
What?
How dare you?
You can eat beavers during Lent because they're
Can you?
considered fish.
what?
No, what?
So, yeah.
That doesn't count.
So maybe capybaras too.
Can I eat? Well, I guess they are kind of They're kind of beavers, but can I eat a dolphin then during Lent?
Yeah.
So anything in the
Eat a
water.
whale?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is a duck cool then?
I don't think you could eat a duck.
But a penguin would be fine.
My guess is yes. Look, I can't guarantee this. I know beavers have explicitly been ruled on. I don't know if the Pope has spoken ex cathedra about penguins.
Go get them. If you crave for meat during Lent, you must simply go south to the Humboldt. Okay, the fun fact, this is coming from ZP in chat. A diocese in South America that had a population that ate beavers and capybara argued that waterborne mammals should be considered fish. the Vatican relented and agreed. They said basically, fine, go ahead, you sickos.
Yeah, they were like, whatever, just don't use condoms. You need as many beavers as you want.
I googled, are you allowed to eat duck during Lent? And then the first answer on Reddit, r/ask Reddit, was, it's not allowed. Unless you forget, then it's okay. So
Great point.
That's my excuse when I go to meet God, and he's like, "Why'd you do all these things?" I forgot.
I think God's going to have a lot more issues with all of us than whether we eat meat on Fridays.
Yeah.
That's
apparently you can eat puffin, alligator, muskrat, beaver, and corned beef.
What?
During Lent.
Corned beef is the most unsettling of all of those.
I don't know why that's on there. We're really getting off track.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get back on track. Song of Iron, Vikings. Speaking of corned beef, the Viking in Song of Iron looks like he eats a lot of it. Did that work? Is that
Very
a transition?
Beefy.
Did I do it?
Very beef. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay. Pete, you picked Song of Iron. Why don't you give us a little rundown?
Sure. So Song of Iron is basically a side-scrolling beat-em-up revenge tale. So your village is attacked by, I guess, evil Norsemen. And
Vikings.
Bad Vikings, yeah. And you cradle the game calls them a loved one. No specification of what the relationship is, I don't think. You cradle a loved one in your arm as they die and hand you a mystical amulet and say, take vengeance for us. And you go on this quest, you beat people up, you do some light platforming and puzzle solving until you get to the end.
Yep. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hour long game. It's pretty straightforward. It is a side scroller. I would say that the most clear analogs are like Limbo or Inside or Little Big Planet. I'll discuss why I make that comparison later. But you are basically side scrolling. There's a combat system, which, Em, how would you describe the combat system?
Axe. You can press a button to swing your axe. You can press a button to put your shield up, but why would you ever do that? You can backstep. You can
Dodge roll.
Charge your weapon with. Yep, you can dodge roll. You can charge your weapon with like elemental energy. What else? What am I missing?
I think the real thing is to never stop throwing it.
Yeah, you can throw your weapon, and later on you get the ability to bring it back to your hand, like God of War style. And you can shoot a bow, and that's a little finicky. And that's it. Mostly just swing your axe.
Yeah, and you've got 3 meters. You've got a red meter, which is health. You've got a green meter, which is your fatigue level, and you got a blue meter, which is magic juice. Because this is vaguely Souls inspired. What was that? You cut out for a second.
I just want to say, damn it. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. I was gonna say that I did not like those little meters.
Yeah.
I did not need those. I thought they were a like debug thing that was left in by mistake. Because they are just like these. They're not even labeled. It's hard to tell which is corresponding to what. I was like, there should be a diegetic way to do all this, especially considering everything else is like not. There's no UI, so wasn't a big fan of those.
Yeah, it's really, and also red and green, like those seem like red, green colorblind people might have trouble, honestly.
Yep.
But yeah, it definitely looked like a developer's solution to a problem, not necessarily a UX designer's solution to the problem. So yeah, this game also worth mentioning was designed by one person. This game was developed, so the studio name is, what is the name?
Resting Relic.
Yes, Resting Relic Studios, which is just Joe Winter is the lead developer, lead and I think only developer on this game.
Yep.
He is a like 14, 15 year industry veteran who worked on Halo 5 and the latest Halo game. He's working as a lead animator in 343 Industries, which is the Halo people, the current
He
Halo
also
people.
did like a bunch of online games at Cryptic Studios, so Star Trek Online, Neverwinter, Champions Online, all those. So for like 6 years. So he knows his stuff. He knows how to
Yes.
animate.
Yeah, and also we're saying we're going to discuss some spoilery things in this. This game is not that old. And again, it was made by one person. So if the stuff we discuss sounds interesting to you, check it out for sure. But we are going to discuss all of it because there's some interesting stuff in here from a story perspective that I feel we would do you, the listener, a disservice if we don't discuss it. And we're here for you, the listener. So Song of Iron, like you said, Pete, starts out very standard revenge tale. Your town has been destroyed by evil Vikings. You need to run to the right until you find the person who did it, basically. That's basically all the story you're given for like 40 minutes or so, I would say. You're just kind of running to the right, fighting whatever Vikings show up in your path. I found, for me, the best way to play this game was to run to the right and jump whenever I saw an enemy because your hitbox will clear them. And then you can just go right past them. Which was pretty good. You can also dodge roll past enemies, and they also won't catch up to you. So you really don't need to fight anything. There's no experience. There's no reason to.
Even if you get close, like I said, if you throw an axe, it's basically a one-hit kill, and there are infinite axes lying around for you to pick up and throw again.
Because, thankfully, these enemies carry axes. They're
Sometimes
squishy and full of
swords.
axes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's an occasional spear, too, but it all works out the same, really.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So there's some light platform puzzles, like you pull some blocks, push some blocks, jump on them so that you can jump to a higher ledge sort of thing. You can climb up certain surfaces. But that's kind of it. Like, did y'all find the combat challenging or engaging?
No. I mean, the big guys were better than the little guys, but even then, not really.
Yeah.
You can kick a guy off a ledge, which is cool.
Yeah, that's fun. My favorite thing was sometimes if there are a lot of enemies in one screen, they will like run at you and form a queue. Because they like get stuck on each other, and then you can just like hack through them basically because they are very slow. And also sometimes guys with bows will shoot and they will hit their friends in front of you, which was also very amusing. I don't know if they could kill their friends, but it doesn't hit you, so doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's definitely... I found I was basically trying to avoid combat because it wasn't that engaging to, swing the axe. I found that sometimes when I did try to engage in combat, it would do long charge attacks when I really meant to do quick attacks. The aiming's a little finicky. The hit detection, like, this game seems to use... so it's Unreal Engine 5. I don't know if it's using its own custom physics engine or it's a licensed physics engine or if it's an out-of-the-box one. I don't see anything on the game's site saying, this was licensed technology. But everything feels a little off, I would say. Like some of the collisions don't feel like they're registering correctly. I had like my arm clip through opposing characters. Like I said, if you run and jump at some of these enemies, you can just clear their hitbox and then just keep going. So if your legs get to about head level, you basically vault over them, even if you just clip through them. And I found that actually when I turned the resolution of the game down from highest quality, I actually was able to... it did a better job of detecting hits. When it was at high fidelity, I could just run through any enemy. When it was at lower fidelity, I actually was making collisions, which was kind of interesting. Did y'all have any bugs or glitches occur to you?
Sort of. Like, I got a few of those, like weird clipping issues. I did read some people's glitches where there's a lightning puzzle in a cave later on.
Yep.
It's possible to like miss that, and then you just can't open that door, which basically is a soft lock. You had some issues.
Yeah, I at one point the game just there was a pathway that was supposed to open. You kind of have to fall through a hole in the ground, and it's basically supposed to open after you. This game has kind of a Zelda progression, or like I wouldn't like a Metroid progression. You're getting different pieces of armor that give you spells. Like you can enchant your weapon with fire. You get lightning, like you said earlier, Em or Pete, I forget who said it. You throw axes and then pull them back to you. Like you get these spells. And after I got the first spell, it's supposed to open like a door that you fall down. You kind of have to backtrack a little bit to get to it. And the first time I played, the door didn't open all the way. It just opened a little bit. So my character would be just perpetually falling. Just trapped in a falling animation, not able to actually get into the room. So that I needed to reset the game, and then it triggered properly after that. But there were a few moments like that where it seems like physicsy things. Boxes that I was supposed to be able to pull got caught on the ground and wouldn't pull smoothly, which was annoying for sure. So there were a lot of little physics things where things didn't behave as expected.
Yeah, I had some of those box problems, just sort of pushing and tugging. But I think that was mostly the most annoying thing, let's say, that I ran into.
Whomst among us haven't had problem pushing and tugging. Yeah, so the boxes are definitely... It annoyed me every time it happened. It wasn't game-breaking or anything, but it was a little annoying. And that was why, like, the game that this reminded me of was Little Big Planet to a certain extent, because Little Big Planet is this great physics... I mean, it's not a great physics engine. It is a very flexible physics engine that you can put almost any gameplay on top of. And a lot of Little Big Planet user-made levels did a lot of sliding block puzzles and lethal pendulum sort of things, which is what this game employs. There's combat, and then there's puzzle rooms, which generally involve like avoiding swinging pendulums. And then once you do all of that, you know, there's not... It's as good as the physics allows those puzzles to feel, right? That kind of gameplay. And I found that this game's physics are just loose enough that I didn't feel like I had great precision control over my character, which made those puzzles feel tedious and bad instead of feeling snappy. Did y'all have a similar experience?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, honestly, the most satisfying thing I did in the entire game was when you can lead your enemies into those swinging pendulum puzzles, and it'll murder them, which is nice, but it's not like a crisp maneuver, I wouldn't say.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the number of times my arm clipped through an enemy, every time I was like, yeah, this feels like a thing that would happen in Little Big Planet. Like my character would get their arm clipped through a wall because this is a game built for flexibility and not precision. And Song of Iron, like I said, I don't know if it's using the Unreal physics engine that might come with Unreal or if it's a plugin or what, but it all felt just a little off control-wise. And what as someone who has studied game design, like how would you even quantify something like that good feel of a physics engine or platformer?
You know, that's a good question.
Because you know it when you feel it. It's just hard to put into words sometimes.
Yeah, I would have to ask some of my like more entrenched game design friends if they know like what qualifies as a like really tight physics engine. I'm trying to think what like my gold standard would be.
A lot of people go Mario.
Yeah, like Mario, the more recent ones, like, you know, Nintendo has all the money in the world they can throw at it, so that's sort of unfair to this one guy.
That is true. We're grading on a bit of a curve here.
Yeah. But I would say this is a little bit would take some refinement. Joe Winter has said that he would like to strive for perfection in his LinkedIn profile. So, and it seems as though this is setting up for a sequel. So, which we will talk about. So if he takes what he has here and he just like refines it a whole bunch, works out some of the like weirder things, I think it'll probably be pretty good.
Yeah, and I think some of this is just the consequence of like this game has ragdoll. This game takes advantage of physicsy things in some ways with the blocks, with some of just like jumping puzzles and things like that. So you want the physics for those. Whereas if this was a bespoke 2D engine, like some of the 2D games we've played, Rogue Legacy, some of the other, what did we play recently? Like we played Beautiful Joe, that doesn't quite count, but Unsighted. We played some 2D games that do not necessarily use physics in the same way and use physics engines in the same way, and they get to be snappier as a result, or they get to be a little bit more bespoke, whereas because this one's using a physics engine, it's a little bit looser than you might want it to be. And I think it's a real trade-off. It's kind of a big indie trade-off. Are you going to go with an engine, or are you going to build your own like kind of 2D art and then have a physics engine that you put together yourself? And this game is, I think the thing that jumps out at you when you look at this is the Unreal Engine 5 graphics, because this game looks really good for a game made by one person.
It is. It is very pretty, and there's a lot going on in sort of like the background.
Yeah,
just people moving about, things changing, that kind of stuff. It's nice.
That's what I really wanted to talk about, because a lot of times when you have this like side-scrolly thing, they don't take advantage of the like backdrop or foreground, and this has like people running into the frame, like the middle ground where you can hit them like from all angles. It's very nice. It feels like it's actually like not as 2D as it is.
Yeah, for sure. I am just, there's a game that came out for the Xbox 360. It was a downloadable game that did a lot of this. I'm just trying to remember the name of it. If someone in chat can remember it, it is a like 2.5D game. It was a very big indie title when it first came out. It was on one of the Xbox Summer of Arcades, I think. And that was what this game reminded me of. I'm going to try and find it, and as soon as I remember what it is, I will shout it out. But I know, I think you were like a secret agent or something, and you were trying to shoot. You were trying to crack some sort of case. I'll bring it up if I remember it.
Is this Shadow Complex?
That's it. Nailed it. That's it. Shadow Complex. Yeah, so Shadow Complex is what this game reminded me of a lot. A lot of stuff going on in the background running to the foreground, or interacting with stuff in the background. But it looks good, like good snow, good fire, good smoke, nice caves. What did we think of like the actual unlocks?
Like the like optional upgrades? I guess they're not optional,
the magics.
But like equipment upgrades. I mean, the lightning's cool insofar as like, imbuing any weapons with lightning is okay in my book. The sprint's nice because it's cool to move faster. I mean, they don't change gameplay much. They're just sort of like check boxes to get you, through a puzzle, or, boost your damage output slightly. They're fine. They're fun, I guess.
Yeah, they solve specific puzzles. Otherwise, they're just kind of, damage modifiers.
I do like the floor stomp. I think that has a very nice feel to it. You do not get to use it very much because it's one of the last you get. But it's cool. Yeah.
And I think with that, like, we should just turn our attention to the story and the spoilers, because, like we said, it's a pretty straightforward kind of combat system. The puzzles are fine. It's mostly sliding boxes, so you can jump on boxes, or, using the sprint to jump slightly further, or using the correct magic on the door with the icon of that magic. Like, there's nothing too groundbreaking here. So what did we think of Thor and the story of Thor?
Thor.
I want to jump to the ending so bad.
Oh
I'm
man.
so confused by it.
Wait.
Before we do that,
I wanna
Okay, we'll go
I
in
wanna I wanna preface once again. This game has one of the most wild endings. If you can play it yourself, you should play it first, because the moment you'll know when the moment happens. I literally was like, "What the fuck?"
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're going up to, you're scrolling right because that's where the game makes you go, and you eventually happen upon Thor, God of Lightning, and he's like, "Hey, Viking man, we can take you. You should go to Valhalla. You're not going to be able to get revenge on this person. If you prove yourself worthy, you can go to Valhalla and fight by my side forever." And you're like, "Nah, I want to get revenge for my family." And so Thor's like, "Fine, I guess you can do that, but you'll never get into Valhalla that way." And he
It's
flies
like,
away.
whatever, loser. And then he bounces.
Exactly. You see him again later on, and he's still doing the, you should really join us. There's an there's a goblin king as well, who tries to kill you. There's not much to him. But then the next time you see Thor, he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna need to either join me in Valhalla or I'm gonna kill you." And then you fight Thor, and you kick his ass.
Yeah, he sucks.
He's
he
a
sucks.
chump.
He's a chump, and you chase him. And Pete, what would you just where does Thor go?
Are we at the end? I'm not
We're
skipping
doing
anything
it
now.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this is what happens. It's a short
So
game.
Thor ends up in. I mean, I guess it's not a spaceship yet. It's some sort of futuristic spaceship base. And then eventually you're joined by all your Viking brethren to lead a revolt against a bunch of sci-fi. They're basically stormtroopers.
There's stormtroopers from Star Wars.
They're stormtroopers. And there's no. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. There's no indication before this moment that this is a science fiction game.
Nope.
None.
No, your character just go M. Sorry.
I went back and I was like, "There's no way that there was any indication earlier on." I watched all the cutscenes again. I was like, "Nope, this is just what we're doing now."
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like a village situation? Like the Vikings were in the future all along?
So the way that Thor describes it is that the world that you are in is a breeding ground for warriors, and then he is selecting the best of the best, and then they're going to work for something called the Imperium, which is very 40K.
That is not a freedom fighting organization. Is not named the Imperium.
No, it doesn't seem to be.
So the two analogs that I have for this are the Magic the Gathering story of Amonkhet, the Amonkhet set, which I think you were still actively playing around then. So Amonkhet, the storyline is this big dragon, one of the big bads of the Magic the Gathering universe, has escaped to this Egyptian world. And in this world, there's a bunch of trials. There are a bunch of gods that kind of bless the population and keep everyone safe. There's this kind of one city that's safe. They're surrounded by zombies on all sides. And in this city, everyone is striving to become a champion, to become anointed and revered. And the storyline, it's some of the good guys try to, go along with the trials and, win over the affections of these folks. And then if you become anointed and you're a champion, you are cut down in your prime by one of these gods, and you're mummified at your absolute physical prime.
Sure, yeah. I wish I could be mummified in my physical prime.
Exactly. And the idea is, so this dragon this big bad controls the entire plane, and he's killing all of these people, all of these best soldiers, because he's going to make a zombie army. So he wants all of these highly trained soldiers cut down in their physical prime so he can turn them into zombies and have them fight for him. So it's an entire society set up to create an army. Same deal here. And the other thing is, I think, again, this is a 40K one, the Kroot, Tau.
The Kroot. I haven't thought about the Kroot in a million years.
So there's in 40K, Pete, Warhammer 40K, there's an army called the Tau. They are, what would you call them? The communists? Space communists?
Yeah, they're all about the greater good.
I already have my
They-
support.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about the Kroot lore.
So
They're
the
not
Kroot
exactly
lore-
prominently displayed.
The Kroot lore is that the Kroot are this like low-tech society that the Tau ran into. And we're like, oh, these guys are cool. These guys are useful. You know, if they were turned for the greater good into our army, we could make great use of them as soldiers. Look, they're good trackers and hunters. So the Kroot, like, they don't give the Kroot good guns or training. The Kroot are just like, they're just weird space hunters who are otherwise surrounded by the most high-tech army in the 40K universe. So you've got all these guys in like mechs that are flying around, and the Kroot are these units you can deploy that are just dudes in like with satchels with dogs, and their guns look like, I don't know, they could double as a banjo or something.
Are they good?
They
No.
are
Like, are
they
they
are very
effective?
they have some utility. Their main thing is that they are very cheap. You can field a
Oh.
lot of Kroot,
So
and they
you're like-
move very
you're
fast.
You're Zerg rushing with them.
They're
Kinda.
usually used for like in high level play. I think they're just used as meat shields for the most part. But they do
Okay.
have some utility beyond that.
They basically secure your objectives, while all of your bigger things are busy fighting stuff.
They're like the only
that's-
Tau units that can fight close combat, because the Tau are all about big guns, and so
Yeah,
they're
and
kind of your.
they're not even that good at it.
No, they're not even that good at it, but they're better than Tau
Yeah.
for the most part. Yeah, so like, here's this high-tech society that found a low-tech group of people and decided, hey, what if we turned you into stormtroopers for us, or, fodder. And that's what's going on in this game. Your Viking is being trained basically in the ways of combat, and it looks like all of the high-tech, all of the armor that you thought was enchanted with runes or some shit is high-tech gear. And you are on a spaceship killing. I gotta say, the laser guns that these stormtroopers employ are not any better than the arrows that the
No,
Vikings
very
employ.
ineffective. Very ineffective.
And you just murderize them. Until you find the remnants of you. So I believe Thor says we're not going to let you leave. Like, the people who killed your village breed way faster than you. So they needed to survive because they will make more soldiers for us. And if you kill me, then the Imperium will come back. They'll send more, and they'll crush you. So you should just give up. And then you kill Thor, and you and like the other surviving members of your clan, I guess, are set up for a sequel.
Yeah, you're gonna have a space adventure as a Viking, which
I
sounds
guess.
pretty metal, honestly.
Yeah, Space Viking.
Hmm
I'm sure that there's probably a whole sci-fi subgenre I just don't know about yet. That's Space Vikings. There has to be.
I mean, this is literally Thor: Love and Thunder.
we haven't
right?
seen that yet. It
I
hasn't
haven't
come
seen
out
the
yet.
Trailer. It
The
looks
one
similar.
before it,
Oh,
Ragnarok. Sure,
yes.
Thor
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
yep.
Basically.
When did Thor Ragnarok come out? I want to know, like, relative to this game, because
A while ago.
This game was about 2 years in development, so Thor Ragnarok, 2017. So definitely before this.
yeah, and
This
Song
came
of Iron
out-
came out.
August 31st, 2021. So last year.
Yeah, so I think that there's got to be some cross-pollination there.
Hmm
This game actually was Unreal Engine 4. I misspoke when I said
Yeah.
5. But yeah,
Five's just come out.
I guess the only hint that there's any sci-fi in this is the picture of the Viking and his glowing medallion. But I guess you could think that that's definitely... Oh, I mean, I guess the background too. Like the glowing red. You think it's a forge or something, but no, it's tech.
This just doesn't seem like a viable conquest strategy. Like, there's this like weird obsession with the Vikings as like the greatest, like greatest, not even military, but like greatest combat force in history. But like, I feel like if you're training them for like space warriors, like starting with Vikings seems very unproductive. You've really mythologized them to the point where it's now a counterproductive strategy.
Yeah, were I to have laser guns, I would simply train people in laser guns.
Yeah.
That seems like the move, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
Thor's flying around shooting lightning. That seems way better than dudes running up throwing axes. Though you
I
do
mean,
kill him with throwing axes,
yeah.
so who's to say, honestly?
That's true. Yeah, we kicked Thor's ass like a couple of times.
hmm
What is this? Is this game trying to say something about revenge? Like this game seems pro revenge, right?
Revenge is awesome and sick.
Yeah.
That's
And it's
That's what it
you
has
get
to
to go
say.
to space and fight gods.
Yeah.
yeah. The alternative to revenge is losing.
Follow up question that just occurred to me, unrelated. So we find out that Thor is really a spaceman. So is Thor in this like universe actually the god of thunder, or does he just have a lot of tech that these Vikings don't understand and can't explain otherwise?
I have a
That-
theory.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. My theory is that this is like a closed world and he is exploiting their like lore, I guess, their mythology to make himself look like a god, but
Okay.
he's just some dude.
So the Thor legend predates this dude, and he's leveraging it to control them.
Yeah, that sounds like a good bet. Either
That
that
makes
or they
sense.
don't understand the tech and that's how they've explained it, and they've always been trapped in the snow globe.
Yep.
This
Yeah,
whole
because
time.
there would have to be multiple lightning guys then for
Mhm.
like an actual legend. Like for Thor to be an immortal god, there need to be multiple lightning guys, which there could be. I mean, they could have been doing this for centuries for all we know.
Yeah, multiple lightning guys with great hair. That's all you need. No one who sees Thor lives that long. It would seem.
That's true. Yeah, they either join him or die.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm excited for the sequel.
Mhm.
When they go to space, like going to space is such like a sequel move.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jason X or whatever.
I was just gonna say Jason X. That's the classic.
Look, it's a very classic move for a reason, and I'm here for it.
I'm down.
All right, with that, I think we've covered Song of Iron. I don't know that there's
Oh,
much
no,
more to
wait.
say. Oh, go ahead.
We need
There's-
our Viking rankings.
There's
Yeah, that's true.
There's one more. There's a neat moment in a little bit of a later portion where there is definitely a Lord of the Rings reference, which I was very tickled about. Like some guy falls down a well and then a big cave troll comes in and starts punching you. And that was the only other point where I was like, haha, I see what you're doing. It's references. So
Yeah,
And
that was
then
definitely
there's-
a good call.
yeah, there's a achievement on Steam that's like throw yourself in next time, which is what Gandalf says when that happens in the movie. So that was fun. I liked
Hell
it.
yeah.
Cute.
And yeah, for our Viking rankings, where do we think this ranks? I think this is probably the lowest, though I am more excited to see Song of Iron 2 than I was to see Hellblade 2.
So we got Hellblade, we got Jotun, and this.
And depending on where you want to put Final Fantasy VII Remake, which
I'm
has
not even gonna include that.
Niflheim, it's got Midgard, but that's just kind of oblique references. I'll say Jotun and Hellblade.
Yeah, I would go Jotun, Hellblade, Song of Iron in that order.
Yeah, agreed. All right, there's our definitive Viking rankings. All right, so with that, I believe, Emmett, is now your turn to pick again and make us upset, probably.
It's my turn. I was thinking about stopping the Year of Torture, but then I decided I was going to keep doing it because why not?
then I thought
But then
better
I
of that.
Thought about it. Would you like to play a long game, a horny game or a weird game?
What was that second option?
A horny game.
Let's not lean too far into my newfound unwanted persona. I'll vote weird.
I vote horny because we haven't played a horny game in a long time.
That's true. Okay. That narrows it down to 2 games. I think I'm going to do this one, actually. This one's not probably fully torture. We have played something from this creator before. We're going to play Christine Lowe's Lady Killer in a Bind.
Okay, that's what I thought you were. I was like, oh, we're playing Lady Killer in a Bind.
Yeah.
Is Lady Killer one word or 2?
One word.
Am I a lady killer or do I kill ladies?
You'll just have to find out.
Okay, one word. You forgot the answer.
One word.
One word. Got it.
Yeah. It's less than a punch, so I know that.
I have seen this game at PAX a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It has been at PAX East many times. Yeah, I am interested to see what the PAX stuff was all about.
You'll see it all.
Yep, let's see. So, an erotic romantic comedy about social manipulation, cross-dressing, and girls tying up other girls. Will the hapless lesbian lady killer beast succeed at pretending to be her ruthless twin? By the creators of Analog, a Hate Story, featuring choice-driven mechanics and lots of sex.
Yeah, it definitely sounds horny. Yeah.
This is probably not going to appeal to either of you in the ways it's supposed to, but you know what?
Well, we'll find out. Next time, we'll be playing Lady Killer in a Bind. Thank you, M.
You know what the other choice was?
What?
For my horny games? Genital jousting.
That is also technically horny. All right. Well, thank you, Pete.
Yeah, I'm honestly more excited for the next game than I was for my own choice now.
Thank you, M.
Hey. Thank you.
And thank you, listeners. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show at DeepListensPod on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show at patreon.com/deeplistens. Till next time, peace.